Hello, everybody. Welcome to the episode 10, big 1-0 of Mondayish. I think, like, I know I make this joke every now and then, but I'm pretty sure we're an official podcast now, Dave.
That's it. We've finally hit my IQ number. So, episode 10, I'm very glad to hear it.
This is my IQ number in reverse.
No, it's good to see you, Jim. Welcome in to YouTube if you're watching afterwards, Spotify, podcast services around the world. Or if you hang out with us at Twitch, we're live right now at twitch.tv/thesane and twitch.tv/straightjacketjim.
That's it.
Double digits, man. That is sick. That is actually really cool.
That's almost...
And we haven't missed a week.
No, we haven't. We haven't had a miss yet. We're Mondayish for a reason, because we're not always on Monday. It just so happens that we are recording today on a Monday, but it doesn't always happen.
It happens probably more than any other day at this point. But,
yeah.
I still think 10 episodes in and no missed episodes is an achievement for a new podcast.
It is. It is. It's very, very good.
Well, like Pokimane just wrapped up her podcast, the Sweet and Sour podcast. They went for 2 years and had 69 episodes or 59 episodes, something like that.
Nice.
Like 59 or 69, whatever it is. That's a lot of missed weeks.
Yeah.
10 weeks. That is 2.5 months that we've been doing this podcast and we're still here.
Exactly.
How good is that?
It is very good. Like I'm very impressed with us, Dave. We set ourselves a goal of starting this podcast and just yapping, and it's good. We're good.
Well, we do have exciting news though. Things that make us more and more a professional podcast every time we talk. We have a logo. We
do. It's almost here. Like, I think we're just waiting on the files now, but it's all been approved, and we're very, very happy with the logo and can't wait to share it with you all. Looks pretty cool, I think.
I think what I shared you was the files, wasn't it?
I thought we were still waiting for the because you shared me. I thought those are the files. Well, I could have had these going for today because I thought for some reason that we were waiting on files. Yeah, that's all right. We'll sort that out. So for next week, we will have those lovely logos up and ready to go.
Everyone pretend I didn't say anything. But no, you playing your games this weekend, mate? It's been a long weekend where we are.
I played some more SWOTOR. So my girlfriend that I've gotten hooked on SWOTOR, we got through the free section of it. So now she's going to have to subscribe. That's just the way it's going to have to be.
Oh, very good.
So yeah, get through that. So we've been enjoying it. Been enjoying taking someone through it, and like she's been kind of sort of skipping through the story, and I've been giving her the cliff notes of what's been going on. Which has been good because I'm actually remembering what's gone on. So it's been very impressed with myself. But yeah, it's been good fun. And now as well, like, because I started a free to play account so I could play with her, and now she's going to subscribe. I can just jump over to one of my other characters that has already subscribed and have all the nice subscriber stuff and not have to spend extra money.
No, that's it. Well, there is something fun about like running someone through an MOU like and all that kind of thing.
It is.
But no, good choice though. Great game to pick up for the weekend.
And what about yourself, Dave? What have you been playing other than your second best effort at Peg All Night speedrun?
That's it, 2 for 2. No, look, it's been a gaming weekend. We had yesterday out, but stream wise, we checked out a cute little indie game called Kuliniku, which is basically you run a ramen restaurant, and like the boss fights are like Iron Chef, so it's like you're properly versing someone in the kitchen. That it was a lot of fun. Like, it was a really cute game. We had a great time in that. As you just said, I've just been playing Peggle. We're working on the speed run for that, so that has been something we're working on with stream. And then the other one I picked up on Thursday night. I picked up Pragmata. So I've been playing Dead Space.
Yeah.
Just finished 100% this afternoon, actually.
Oh, wow.
Jeppy and I have spent a lot of time on the couch this weekend playing through that.
I was awesome about to say, that hasn't been out that long.
Look, I'm a bit of a gamer, Jim. I'm a bit of a gamer. Look, we're one trophy away from the Platinum Trophy on PlayStation. Unfortunately, it is playback through the whole game on the hardest difficulty, not New Game Plus. So I don't even get to take all the stuff that I've unlocked. So I think that trophy's gonna sit for a little bit before I go back and do it again, because I've put 20 plus hours into this game. 100% every area, all the bosses, all the second bosses, like all the secret bosses, got the alternate to the ending, all that kind of stuff. It was great. Loved it. Really, really cool game. I can see in chat a lot of people saying they want it. It's really cool.
Yeah. Should have just started playing on hard.
confusing.
You would have been all right then.
It's not unlocked. You have to beat the game to unlock it.
Oh, wow.
Which is a real... That is actually something that annoys me in games, is when the hardest difficulty is not unlocked at default and it's not in New Game Plus.
Yeah.
And it's a real Capcom thing. You know? The Capcom games, for instance, like Resident Evil never has the hardest difficulty unlocked at the start, but it's really good because it lets you do New Game Plus. So like Resident Evil New Game Plus is really built around the fact that you're going to have strong stuff from like 4 runs before.
Yeah.
You know, like Resident Evil Village. I think I ran through that game 6 times or something like that by the time I did the hardest version. And by the time I did the hardest version, I had infinite ammo and the strongest guns. It was just like, cool, this is just me like victory lap. Yeah, Pragmati's making gamers want kids that don't want them before. Can't say it had that effect on me, Yeen. She's very cute. She's a very cute character. The story is pretty cool. The Desane quick review, awesome fun. Combat feels great. Like if you've only seen videos of the combat, it can look quite overwhelming. It's really, when you're in it and doing it, it feels good. You know what I mean? And that's probably one of the best things I can say about the game is like the combat feels good. The story is great. Exploration is fun. It gives you a lot of tools to make exploration easier. Like at one point you unlock a scan and it will just pop up all the nearby chests and stuff that you've missed. So getting 100% like exploration, I didn't use a guide once. Like I got to do it all just by default.
Yeah. I think that's like, I'm going to take it back to Mass Effect because like, I think I'm one of the few people that enjoyed exploring planets with the Mako in the original Mass Effect. And don't get me wrong, like it wasn't the easiest thing to driving around, but I think I thought of that more as a platformer than a driving sim at that particular point in time, the way I was playing it. But like I enjoyed that exploration of it. Like there wasn't that much there really, but I enjoyed the way of getting to things and working out how to get to things to the point where like the way you get some resources and whatnot in Mass Effect 2, I'm looking at it going, this feels very boring and very grindy in places, whereas an exploration done right to me, that very much, it feels like a journey rather than a grind.
Yeah, 100%. Like when a game becomes a chore list, that's when it gets annoying. And, I play a lot of games to platinum. Like that is something that I do for fun. I think we're at 127 now or something like that. Like that is something that I do quite often with games. There's nothing worse than like when that 100% completion becomes just a real chore. It can make you hate a game that you loved before if you're trying to like see everything. Yeah. And, full disclosure, Pragmata doesn't have I wouldn't call it a true ending or an alternate ending, but there is a little bit more locked behind 100% completion. And for one, and I'll be honest, it was fine for this game. But there are games that lock stuff behind 100% completion that are an absolute nightmare. One of the worst, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Have you seen that one?
No.
That has 3 characters, each of them with a full completion that has to be done. Then a secret episode with a full completion that has to be done. That is every enemy beaten, every recipe made, every tournament completed, every chest unlocked, all that. No. 3 times. You've got to do it 3 times.
Ouch.
It is brutal. It was a brutal thing, and in classic Kingdom Hearts fashion, it locks behind it hints about what's going to happen next in the game. Like, each time if you can beat the Kingdom Hearts games at 100% and certain difficulties with enough completion left, you get little cutscenes, you go, oh, that was really cool, wonder what that's about. And then like 2 games later, you go, wait a second, this is that thing that was at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. So yeah, it's completion lists are fun.
I find like, because I'm not a completionist. Like I think I can count on one hand the number of games I fully completed, and the only one that's coming to mind at the moment is Super Mario World, where I looked and found all 96 exits. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was before the internet. Like I had to find those exits on my own. But I can't even remember the rest. There's a couple of others I've got all the achievements in and whatnot. But I remember when Final Fantasy VII Remake first came out on PC, And I really enjoyed that. Like, I know it had a lot of
Hmm.
detractors about how linear it was, but I liked the chapter setup. Partly because of the way that you could just go and run a chapter and do whatever you needed to do in there to get the achievements. But there was one that annoyed me because those who know Final Fantasy VII know that at the kind of in Midgard there, it gets to a point where you've got to dress Cloud up to get into like a club and get some information.
That trophy sucks, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know what I'm talking about then, because there's 3 different outfits that you can get for him, but the setup for it happened 3 chapters before, and it's not just a let's go and make the decision and then fast forward to the chapter. No, you've got to play all the chapters in between to be able to get that one. I think I did 2, and I couldn't remember which ones I'd done after that, and I go, I can't be bothered doing this. And it was also about then that I found out that none of the materia I had was going to carry over to Rebirth when that came out. And I was just like, yeah, nah, cool, I'm done. I've had my fun with this game. I don't want to do any more.
That's it. Nah,
Mhm.
it's something like you say, you're not so much into the trophy hunting and that kind of thing. But there are websites just dedicated to it, you know, communities and all that kind of thing. And they've got some really nice things now in trophy guides. It's become the norm of, even if you don't look at anything, at the very top of most trophy guides, it'll have, you know, story related trophies, you know, grind, which of these trophies, like, you know, here's one for kill 500 people with each weapon or things like that. So you can flag them early.
Yeah.
Missable is the big one.
Yeah.
Like, I very much will go in and I just look at a guide and I will double check, you know, what's missable. And X, Y, Z, these are the things I have to care about. Everything else can go. Because those are really useful, because they'll go, missable, there's 4 chests in this one chapter that you can't get back to that you need for the trophy. Make sure you grab those, and then otherwise you're fine. But like, that's yeah, it's a very different way of playing games to normal people.
But just getting back to like the no new game plus thing that you have in Pragmata and having to go back and do the hard difficulty after, that kind of annoys me, because like I know one of the metrics that game companies like to measure their success of their game by is how many people are still playing their game and how long people played their game for. But to me, like, unless you offer something different, that second playthrough is just artificially expanding the runtime of your game. It's not like
Oh,
it's not like doing like a Breath of the Wild. Like, I remember when I first finished Breath of the Wild, I missed doing Tarrytown, which is a whole thing of building up a town there. You got to bring wood, you got to find people to inhabit it, and I missed doing that completely. And so I did a run where my win conditions were do all the divine beasts and Tarrytown. That was all I wanted to do for that run. And that's cool. Like, it's my definition for having finished the game, but that was my choice to go and do that after I'd already finished it. And for games where you have a harder difficulty, but that's all that's changed, like, I feel like if you're going to make someone play through a game for a second time, you have to put something a bit extra there.
well, it depends on how they make it difficult. You know, some of the games that I can't remember which game it was, but you know, I've played through a lot of games on the hardest difficulty for trophies and that kind of thing. And there are games where, you know, difficulty is just, and all enemies have twice as much health and do twice as much damage, and you know, you take twice as much, you have like half as much health. So, you know, it just all snowballs.
Yeah.
Games I love are games that have what I'd almost call critical difficulty, which, you know, Kingdom Hearts 2, Final Mix has it. There's a few others. What it is you have way less health. The enemies have similar amount of health. They do way more damage. So really, you are going to die faster, but they die faster if you do it correctly. You know, the critical mode in Kingdom Hearts 2, it's like, if you do the triangle commands, which are like the, you know, the reactive commands, I don't know how much you play Kingdom Hearts.
I've never.
The audience has, but so yeah, in combat you can hit triangle. It's like a quick time event. It's like it pops up in certain things. In critical mode, that does like 300% damage. So basically, you will die really quickly. They'll kick your ass, but if you do the way the fight was made to be beaten, you'll smash it. You'll be straight through. It's the same as things like Sekiro and that. If you parry everything, you'll be done. You'll be fine. It's only when you try to brute force yourself through, you can't do it. But
And I think that's good if you build in a reward somewhere where if you get good at the game, it's better rewards, like your better damage with parrying and stuff like that. I think that works, but like if it's just exactly the same game or the artificial difficulty of bosses take less damage, they do more damage, and you have less health, then I'm not here for that.
Nah, spot on. It's like Ian says, the Spider-Man one, the suit that gives you one hit, but all your enemies die in one hit as well. Like that stuff, it changes the whole game.
Yeah.
Because suddenly you have to be aware of where you're taking damage and all that kind of stuff. Like I really like that stuff. But yeah, no, it's an interesting one, difficulty and all of that, because as you know, play a lot of cozy games, that kind of thing. And it's something I thought might be a valid one to talk about, 20 minutes into the podcast episode. Do games, well, my argument here, and I think you'll probably agree with me, is that games need a way to fail. If you can't fail, it's less entertaining. So yesterday we played Kuliniku. I might be mixing up it's 2 words, and I get it back to front all the time if it's not literally written in front of me. But you run the ramen shop, and there's cozy mode. And cozy mode just removes any failure point in the game. There's no timers, there's no dissatisfaction, you can't burn things, all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, I had fun, and I was doing it that way mainly because I like to yap and get distracted by stream, and we're like, cozy mode, we'll give it a go. It really took out any sort of pride or accomplishment or, feeling that you'd achieved something, because you just you can't fail. If you can't fail, does your achievement feel less? And I know that there are other people that will say, no, I still feel the exact same. But yeah, it's one that I've been thinking of a little bit at the moment.
I think there's a place for no fail modes. And actually, no, I'm going to rephrase that. I think that there are certain games that no fail modes fit well in, and Cozy's probably one of the best games because people are in there. They're not there for the what's the right word? Then they're there to chill and have a good time, and they kind of want things to be on the easier side. But I am still in the part of gaming where I like a challenge. Now I'm not a Dark Souls or Elden Ring gamer by any means, so I'm not doing that sort of a challenge. Yeah. But like I've enjoyed some of the Kaizo Mario games that I've played, because I like the challenge of going back and doing things and trying again. I super enjoyed Hollow Knight. I just absolutely adored that game. And I think it's why I'm pushing to get through Mass Effect as quick as I can. Cause I've got the trilogy there. So I do 1, 2, and 3. And then because I want to move on to Silk Song, I want to give that a red hot go on stream, so there's, I think that there's still room for challenges, but different levels of challenge, I guess. And how they implement that is very important to me.
And I get where you're coming from when you point to Cozy Games as the one, and, resident Cozy gamer of the podcast here. I would say, like, you can have failure without it being complete pass fail. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Stardew Valley has, one of the cozy games. If you're doing cozy game lists, people are going to mention Stardew Valley. You can't fail. You can't go bankrupt. You can't, you will always be able to recover eventually, kind of thing. But you can get yourself in a real hole if you, use all your money to buy seeds, plant them too late, and they don't sprout before winter, for instance, or things like that. But that's there's still a failure kind of thing of and potentially it's self-imposed things. It's, I want to get the whole community center done within 2 years before, 2 years is sort of the arbitrary deadline for a lot of stuff in Stardew. Yeah. You can fail that 100%. And it's not the end of the game or anything. It's just one of those you haven't achieved the goal. But I feel like in a game, you need to have some goal that has at least some tension. It's not even you can't fail it. Most cozy games, you're not going to end up with a big game over screen going, no, you went bankrupt. Tom Nook now owns your house. All your villagers hate you. Yeah. Your garden is full of weeds.
Yeah. I kind of look at it because
Animal Crossing again recently.
Yeah. But I spent a bit of time at Sandrock,
Mm.
which is the same devs that did My Time at Porsche, if any of you have played that. And like, you're right, it has its little failure moments, but it doesn't have a big impact over the game as a whole. It has
Sure.
an impact on your resources, but you can always work to get those back. Like,
You say that, Jim, but My Time at Porsche had a missable trophy because you could fail one job. And if you miss that job, done. No recovery. It was
see, I never played Porsche. I only played Sandrock. I just know that it's the same devs, but like, it's the things about crafting the things and taking on the jobs to craft for the residents and like that.
It's a great series.
Yeah, and that game even had combat and things, exploration, and I just thought the way it did it definitely melded the things together very well. I would like to just comment, because there was a comment from Ian about the comment was, I think it depends on the game and one's individual circumstances. I enjoyed FF16's hand holding equipment when I had a baby because I could still enjoy the story one-handed. I think that's not so much about difficulty, that's about accessibility options. Which is
100%.
which is something else I would absolutely love, because there was one game, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. The accessibility options in that were they were amazing to me. And like, because I'm terrible at parrying, but the difficulty settings on it let you modify such a wide variety of things. So you could make it so you took less damage, or you had more health, or the parry timer window was bigger, and just all these little minutiae of things you could change. And I think things along the lines of one-handed gameplay, like that's accessibility, and I definitely think that should be in more games.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll admit, I haven't used the Final Fantasy 16 equipment and stuff, but I would assume there's still an ability to fail eventually, kind of thing. Like, it's made to help you and carry you through and that kind of thing, but there's still some tension. But yeah, no, absolutely, I'm not talking accessibility, because like, I very much am a fan of all of that kind of stuff. I think it's so important in games. Even a lot of the time you see the harder games are the ones with it better. Like Celeste has awesome accessibility options, and Celeste is a very hard platformer.
Yeah.
If you haven't played that, Jim, get around it.
Oh, I have. I absolutely adored Celeste. Yeah, so good. And it's even other little things like Nintendo. One of the lots of things that annoy me about Nintendo is their want to shoehorn in, let's make this easier. And sometimes they do it really well. Sometimes they do it in a way that's super annoying. Like there was one of the new Super Mario Bros. One where if you failed or died in a level, like it was alone, it might have been 5 or 10 times. All of a sudden at the beginning, there was this gold thing that came up and basically played the game for you. Now you could choose whether you took it or not, but it was still there. And I'm sitting there going, I just want to turn this off. And
it's like when a game offers you the option after you lose to a boss a few times, like, hey, do you want to turn the difficulty down?
Yeah. Clippy suddenly
that's insulting.
Yeah, Clippy suddenly appears and goes, I saw you're having trouble with this boss. Yeah.
You can do all the combat by pressing square. It does fancy moves and combos. That's sick, Yane. I hadn't seen that, but that's really cool. Like, that is a really cool feature to have. But no, it's the same as like World of Warcraft has added the one button rotation as an option now. So now you can bind, to your one button rotation, and it'll do the rotation for you. It's not perfect. It doesn't do it like perfect, but you come out at about 60, 75% of what you would do if you played perfectly. For a lot of people, that's an improvement.
Yeah.
And for people that can't play or have mental load difficulty or all that kind of stuff, it's awesome. It's been really good to see.
And I like I said, it is as accessibility options, I really like it. But Mario Odyssey, I think it was. So I think at some point that had one of those, here, let us do the game for you. But their difficulty level, to me, particularly in the later ones, like Nintendo are really good at building a game that's very simple to finish and hard to complete. And Odyssey was one of those. Like a lot of the later moons were very hard to do. I remember there was one towards the end where you had to chain link about 10 long jumps, but they weren't exact long jump distance. So they were like controlled long jumps, and took me ages to get that, but it was a challenge to do it. And there was no way in hell I was accepting that little box to say, here, I'm going to do it for you, because that's not the point. I want to be able to do this for me. But I do like that they got rid of lives. So the difficulty isn't in how many lives you can collect in the course of a game anymore. It was, oh, you're just collecting coins. Every time you die, we're going to get rid of 100 coins, I think it was. Yeah, which carried over into...
that much, yeah.
Yeah, it might have even been 10. It might have been something like...
I think it might have been 10.
Yeah, which then carried over to Donkey Kong Bonanza, which was... there was a minimum amount, but it was also, I think, like 10% of however many gems you had at the time. You know, so I like that, where there's a punishment for failure, but it's not an impediment to playing the game.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's it. Like, failure without any punishment can often not have stakes, whether that's, you know, not getting to progress, whether it's losing some money, all that kind of thing. And I'd like you say, you know, oh, Mario Odyssey, easy to beat, not easy to 100%. The bloody brutal fight in Bowser's area, so like the one where they're in a mech, that fight sucks, man. That fight is brutal, and that is a fight that you need to beat the game. Like, that is harder than the final boss by a huge margin, honestly.
Oh yeah, harder than the final boss, because it's like the final boss fight itself before the escape sequence. It's the same boss fight as you've done twice already in the game.
3 times, yeah. No, that's true, but yeah, honestly, that brutal fight is rough. Having played it on stream probably just under a year ago. I think I played it back in May last year. And yeah, some of those fights are rough. Yeah. Really.
But also as well, I like that that you can skip the brutal fights. So there's very few forced brutal fights in that.
You cannot skip that one.
No, you can't. You can't skip that one. But there's a lot of like the individual brutal fights you can skip.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You don't need to do them. If you've got enough moons from out in the world, you're fine. Which is a cool little way of doing it. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to. I've got Mario Odyssey Bingo coming up soon, which I'm looking forward to playing through, because that's always a good time.
How do you do that? Is it just finding stuff in?
It's a website that does a bingo card, but it's a lot of very cool challenges, and you know, depending on how you feel, that could be a bit of a Mondayish play.
Oh, well, I reckon we could do something like that. I reckon that could be on the cards.
Yeah, good. A good old 5-hour yap. People have been saying they want these podcasts to last longer.
That's it. We could do it as a special episode for like, because as I've been uploading to Spotify, they've got like, you can say this, what season is it, what episode is it, and go, is this like a special episode for something? Okay, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, it'd be
Mondayish verse. I like it.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, and you're right, Yin. Yeah, I appreciate a game that is fully playable by kids but challenging for adults. And once again, Mario Wonder was like that in its later stages. So that was, like I say, Nintendo are really good at doing that, but they also do other things like letting you finish the game, or letting it finish the game for you. But
yeah, no, that's it. And sometimes kids need that, but at the same time, I think definitely kids can get through a lot if they just have the time to bang their head against the wall. And like you said, removing lives is a great one for that, because they can just keep trying.
Yeah. Well, it's lives are a holdover from the arcade days, where if you died and game over, it meant you were putting more money into the arcade machines. But with home video gaming, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it really does. No, lives don't matter.
No, that's it.
Well, I think we've had a good yap here, Dave. I think that might be where we call it for now, especially since I know you've got to get on with your WoW rating tonight.
No, that's it. And see, like I said, we're definitely seeing the two vibes, and people are going to start being able to predict, is it a Jim episode or a Dave episode, by whether it's structured and prepared, or is it full, just like, here's a conversation starter. But I like that. I do very much enjoy it.
Get a bit of variety.
No, thank you. Thank you, Jim, and thank you everyone for hanging out for Mondayish. It's again, episode 10, man. That is actually kind of cool. I'm very pleased to see that we've stuck with it and that we're going to stick with it, because I really enjoy it, and clearly all of you are enjoying it as well.
Yep, I enjoy having a chat, and if you would like to see us live, you can see us at twitch.tv/straightjacketdim or twitch.tv/Desane. Pretty regularly on the Monday at the moment, but anyway, from Saturday, I think, have we done a Tuesday? I can't remember if we've done a Tuesday night.
We did do a Tuesday. I think last week was a Tuesday.
That's right. Yeah. So, yeah, anywhere by there, you can see us live, or wherever you find good podcasts, or on our Mondayish YouTube channel. So please give us a follow there. Like, let us know what you like to hear us talk about, because we like to know what you guys like as well, because, you know, sometimes we talk and we don't know if anybody wants to listen.
It's not going to stop us.
No.
I want to be very clear on that, but we are still going to be here yapping. But no, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, you know, tell people to go check it out. It really does help out. You know, we've got some exciting stuff coming up through the year. You know, Jim works very hard on Pixel Expo and stuff, so maybe we'll have a Mondayish on location and all that kind of stuff. So get around it, share it around. Tell us what you want to hear about. Exactly.
Is it? And we will catch you guys next time here on Mondayish.